Hi guys, welcome back to my channel where I do what I want, when I want, and today we are going to get into the rising signs, more specifically Scorpio. And so let me tell you why I am doing this amazing series. So I'm doing this because first and foremost, I really do feel that, you know, as a predictive astrologer, I feel that your rising sign is the most important. Whenever I'm at a club or a party and I'm meeting new friends or I am meeting new clients, the first thing I want to know is, what is your rising sign? Because a lot of people say, oh my God, you know, like, yeah, your rising sign is how other people see you. But deeper than that, what it really means is the makeup of your birth chart. It is literally the foundational settings of how your life is going to go, and the marriages you attract, and the childhood you grew up in, and the career and vocation you're going to end up in your life. And so I'm not really concerned about, you know, your sun sign or your moon sign, because first I want to know what's up with you, like the deeper parts of that. I want to know your past, present, and future. And so if that sounds interesting to you and you want to know how your birth chart is made up, let's get into it. Yeah, so with your first house being in Scorpio, this is going to mean that you are ruled by the transformative, control obsessed, deep, powerful sign of Pluto. Pluto and Mars a little bit. Mars is kind of the co-ruler, but we're just gonna focus on Pluto. Pluto is gonna be very, very powerful. You are gonna have a lot of influence and a lot of control. You probably have control issues, or you like control when it comes to the people, places, and situations you involve yourself in. Like if you ever find yourself in a space, you want control, you want to influence the room in one way or another, or you want the attention on you in some shape or form. You want that. And when Scorpio is also in the first house, this is also going to mean that you are probably going to be met with a lot of aggression that requires you to transform, if that makes sense. Because with Mars being the co-ruler of this, it means that you are going to attract this. You are going to be someone who is attracting this force. So you are also, of course, you're going to be seen as sexy or hot or, you know, sexually enticing, but more so you're going to have this air about you that, like, not an air about you, but you're going to find yourself in situations where you transform the situations you're in, or people meet you with aggression and you have to transform that or transmute that in one way or another. So yeah, that's going to be the first house in Scorpio. Now, hold on, let me find the second house. Okay, so with Sagittarius in your second house, this is going to mean that you are probably someone whose values, you really value truth. And you being a Scorpio rising, it would make sense that for someone like you that is a deep person, that is a very introspective person, and is, you know, someone who wants to go to the depths of things, this is why you value truth. And you probably will be someone that does a lot of research, or, you know, their job requires them to see into the truth of things, you know, see into the truth of the matter in one shape or another. Whether it be you being a teacher, or you being someone that coaches someone, or does something that, you know, rallies people together and you have to teach them something. Like this falls into your money house. So it's either you're traveling, or you have to get along with foreign people, or spread truth and knowledge in some way. And this is how you make your money. You either make your money with different walks of life and traveling, and or with teaching or coaching. So with your third house in Capricorn, this is going to mean that you, in your mind, you are someone who, again, is very, very like you love success and you want success, and you probably have a traditional way of thinking, a traditional value system, and someone who, when you communicate effectively to the point where whatever you communicate, you can induce success within your situations. Like, you are someone who, when you communicate or when you're talking, you talk in a very traditional way, and it was probably hard for you growing up to communicate what you had on your mind, because Saturn is ruling your third house of your communication. And so with that, it's like it gets better in time. Like, you slowly open up in time. Like, you were probably someone growing up who kept everything to yourself, and as you got older, you saw yourself like opening up more and more and letting people know what was on your mind and letting people know what you were thinking. And yeah, like, success is a big deal to you, and you really strive for success and crave success. And when you speak, especially like say you were on an interview, this is where that Capricorn really comes out. That Capricorn third house really comes out, because it's like you really want to use your speech so that it would help you succeed. Like, you're probably good at convincing people of things and convincing and winning bosses over and things like that. So with Aquarius in your fourth house, this is gonna mean that for you, you are very detached from your home and your support system. And for you, you probably grew up in a household where your mom was emotionally absent. She was probably present in the form of her being very practical, or yeah, her being very, very practical, and she was there, like she was there, but emotionally she wasn't there. Like, whenever Aquarius is in a house, it means that it's detachment. And when this sign is in the house of the mother and the upbringing, this means that you probably had a household that, yes, you were in probably a progressive household, or a household where your parents were very smart and progressive and whatnot, but the emotional aspect was probably missing, and it was exactly probably what you needed. And you probably are like this in your home today. Like, when you go home, you kind of feel detached from your home in a way, or you feel like, you'd rather be out in the world than to be at home sometimes. Yeah. Fifth house Pisces. With fifth house of the Pisces, this is going to mean that you are a very creative individual. You are someone that melds, you meld and mesh spirituality and fantasy and art together. That's like one of your biggest hobbies. So spirituality could be a hobby of yours. Astrology could be a hobby of yours. Like, these things could be big hobbies of yours, and you probably create in the realm of like spirituality, you know? Maybe you create tarot cards. Maybe you are someone that loves to collect stones and crystals, and like maybe you put them in a collage of some sort. Like, and also you probably attract people and partnerships, like as far as dating wise, who are very creative as well. You like creative individuals. You you love creative individuals, and you probably attract people who are very escapey and like escapists, who are, you know, like you feel like you gotta save them in some shape or form. Or you might attract a lot of Pisces or Pisces type figures or Pisces type people. But yeah, so with Aries in the sixth house, Aries in the sixth house is gonna be someone who in your day-to-day, you're very good at your day-to-day. Now, this reads back to the story of your first house, right? Because when people see you, they see you as someone who holds a lot of power. And how do they see you? They see you in your day-to-day, in your day-to-day routines, in your schedules, in your to-do lists, right? So when you're out in the public and you're doing your routine and you have a lot of power in that, that is what Aries is showing in your sixth house. It means that you are a very fiery, aggressive individual in your day-to-day. You attack your schedules. You, on the job, or when you are going to your, when you are in your job or in your career or at the gym or waking up, you've got a lot of power. You got a lot of you got a lot of gusto behind you. You know, you've got a lot of vitality, a lot of energy. You attack things head on, and that can be very Plutonian and very Mars-ian. See how everything reads like a book? Like, the birth chart really, really reads like a book. And this is why I say your rising sign is the most important, because it just doesn't stop at what people see you as. It shows everything. It makes up your entire chart. So with your seventh house in Taurus, now this is your descendant sign. And so for you, you are someone that with Pluto in your first house, you are forever going through transformations. It's like something happens, you learn from it. Something happens, you learn from it. Something happens, you learn from it. Every month, every year you are evolving and you are changing, you are growing, right? And for most people, it's not like that. You know, some people are the same person that they were 5 years ago, and they just got something that happened to them, or they are just embarking on a new milestone. But for you, you are constantly evolving, right? And so that's scorpionic. That's scorpion plutonic energy when you are in a constant state of transformation. And you attract, with 7th house in Taurus, you attract people and lovers and marriages who seek to ground you, right? Who seek to stabilize you and say, hey, why are you transforming so quick? Let me be that rock for you. Let me be a rock for you in your wavy waters. Like, let me be a pillar or an anchor for you to lean on. And these are the type of businesses that you want to align yourself with. These are the type of friends you want and the type of lovers you need. Like, listen, your life on its own is already crazy, you know? So the people that you attract, the jobs, the marriages, the friends, if they do not feel like an anchor for you and they're not someone you can depend on and come to, they're not for you. You know, you have to and you will attract people who are Taurus-like, who can be dependable, who are always there for you when you call them up and say, oh my God, guess what happened? This is happening, this is happening. And you will. And these are the type of people that you will end up with. This is the type of marriages you will find yourself in. It's very just stable people who ground you, you know? And yeah. Now, with 8th house in Gemini, 8th house Gemini is going to be someone who in the bedroom you love to communicate. You are someone who is always communicating and you want to communicate. You, especially in the realm of, how do you feel? Do you still like me? Oh, so what happened when you were a kid? Did you like that when that happened? Like, that's how you want really deep conversation and deep intimacy. You really, really love intimacy, and more so in the communication field. Like, you love words of affirmation. You are a words of affirmation type person. Like, people who tell you something, it's like that's bonding for you. Whereas some people need physical or they need gifts. You just need words. Like, words for you are your weakness. That's what gets you off in the bedroom is talking. You know, you love that in the bedroom. And yeah, so with Cancer in your 9th house, this is going to mean that for you, you probably had or grew up with a mom who was kind of like a father figure, right? Like, you probably had your mom play both roles, and you were also someone who maybe in your academic career, you were someone who was learning something like nursing or learning something that has to do with supporting businesses or supporting people in some shape or another. Like, maybe you studied psychology, maybe you studied how to do like nursing or HR work or things like that. Like, anything that taught you how to deal with people and to be a support system for people is what you learned in your career. I mean, what you learned in your college life or in your academics, or it's just something that plays a role in your father. Like, your father was probably playing both roles, or your mom was playing both roles. Now, with Leo in your 10th house, this is going to mean that, you know, for you in your career, it's going to force you into the spotlight. For whatever reason, your job is always going to put you in the forefront of your job, and you're going to get noticed in your job. You're going to be the star of the show in your job. Your job puts you out there, and you can't help but to be out. Like, you will not have a job that puts you in a cubicle and you just rot. Your job is gonna, whether you are always getting accolades in your job, whether you are a celebrity in your job, whether you are being very creative or expressive in your job, this is what Leo energy in your 10th house is gonna be. I want you to look up Leo through the houses and go to that video, and that will give you more insight. I have that video on my channel. But yeah, that's what that's gonna be. Now, with your 11th house in Virgo, 11th house in Virgo is gonna mean that for you in the future, you are gonna be someone who is you know, you, by the work of your career, you are gonna be someone who, for me, this gives like philanthropist vibes, where you serve the public, like you help the public, you give something to the public in your later life. Or you and the friends and the people that you align yourself with are also going to be very like philanthropic or very humanitarian. Like with Virgo, the sign of service and organization, you are going to be that in your future. Now, with Libra in the 12th, this is going to mean that for you, you know, you being a very scorpionic figure, you gotta break a few eggs, you gotta break a few hearts, you gotta make a few people mad, and you're gonna do that whether you want to or not. And so for you, the most spiritual thing you can do is to smooth things over, but that's very hard for you sometimes because you are a very powerful person and you are probably someone who doesn't submit easily. And so the Libra or librarian way of smoothing things over and making things right and making things harmonious is really lost on you. And because it's lost on you, that when these things do happen, it feels very spiritual to you. It feels very like, oh wow, like, okay, like it spiritually soothes you. You probably have a very beautiful spiritual life, like a very beautiful, you know, that aspect of your life is probably very beautiful, but it's hard for you to access sometimes. And when it does, it's like, oh, thank the gods above that like something happened where this person has forgiven me, or I have smoothed this over in some shape or another. So yeah, that was Scorpio rising, and that was your video. If this helped you, I really hope that it helped you in some shape or another. I'm going to be doing more videos like this, and I do natal chart readings. Hit my links below for a natal chart reading. I would love to dissect what your Scorpio rising chart is with your unique planets and placements. I'm sure there is something that you want to ask, or you know that you need help in, that your birth chart has a solution for, and I would love to relay the message. Well, that's my video, and I will see y'all on the next one. All right, y'all have a great day. Bye.